Everybody, it's Lynn again. I'm here with another pull from episode 3 of Love, Lies, and Leeches. In this clip, John and I are talking about the drama between Cardi B and Offset, from spousal support, control, and ego, everything. It's messy, it's real, and of course we have our own unique opinions and thoughts. If you'd like to listen to the full episode, head over to the I Take Your Point podcast, subscribe, and don't forget to leave your comments. We love them and we appreciate you. Enjoy.
There's another story that caught my attention over the last couple of weeks, and that's and all of these, except for Muss and the Shit Show, have Atlanta connections. The relationship between Offset and Cardi B. I'm a huge Cardi B fan. Offset, I was a huge fan of the Migos, and obviously, I hate the passing of a member of that group, because I know that you are not so culturally plugged in to know.
How dare you announce that to the world?
Well, the world needs to know.
The world already knows.
The world needs Offset.
I do not have an idea who they are.
You have an idea now.
Son that is very well versed in the culture and exposes me to things.
And so you asked Ryan who Offset and Cardi B were.
I knew who they were, John.
Yeah. Well, what is?
No, we're not going to be doing a quiz right now. Move on.
So the thing that jumped out with respect to Cardi B and Offset, a couple things. One, Offset and Cardi B are married, and so they're going through divorce right now. And anytime you're in a relationship and things go sour, there could be some hard feelings. I think the problem for Offset was when he, and both of these individuals are massively wealthy. And so he came out maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago and said that he wanted Cardi B to pay him spousal support. And I was like, dude, seriously? For at least $30 million? Why do you need spousal support from your wife?
He doesn't. But if you were to believe, and we were to say, okay, we're going to go ahead and accept Cardi B's allegations that he was gaslighting her, that he would manipulate her, that he would make her feel like all of these things, the infidelity, everything was her fault. This is an extension of that. It is not about the fact that he needs any money. It's about controlling her and still trying to make her feel a certain way when he's outside of that house. He's still trying to insert himself inside that house and inside her life. It is not about the money. He doesn't need that money. He wants to continue to be an influencer. And at some particular point, you're going to have to love your child more than you hate that person. So let it go.
Yeah. I take your point with respect to the control thing. Now, Cardi did respond in a way, and I'm saying it like I know her. I don't know her at all. I'm saying her first name. Cardi B, excuse me. Miss Cardi B.
Yes, that's Miss Cardi B to you, because we know who you are.
She responded to it in an interesting way that I just don't get. And I know because you're mean.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. She posted that she hopes he dies, gets hit by a truck or something. And I'm like, that's taking it a little too far.
Well, it is taking it
too far. Dead on someone that's the father of your kids.
Well,
you don't speak certain things you just don't say, but you do because you're mean and you.
I'm not mean. I like to see karma have its impact while I'm still here. I just like that. So what I would advise anybody to do that says that is make sure they use either air quotes or actual quote. I hope, just in case it comes back. And then we have this moral and legal thing again. Right. So always say, I hope that something happens. I will kill him. And they're like, ma'am, what's your defense? It was the air quote. For both of them, there are some underlying things in their relationship, obviously, that haven't been resolved. And so they are attacking each other. And like I said earlier, you've got to find a point where you love your kid more than you hate that other person. And then hopefully you can find your way to a peaceful resolution. Because right now they're hurt. Both of them are hurt, asking for money, hoping somebody gets hit by a truck or whatever it is. That's a sign of you being hurt, and there's some unresolved things in that relationship. Hopefully they'll both find peace elsewhere, and therapy is always a good option.
Well, she's found peace because she's dating Stefon Diggs, and I know you don't know who that is. So Stefon Diggs is Stefon is a professional football player. receiver. And so Cardi B and he are dating.
Yeah.
And they put out a video this week or last week, and a couple of things were happening. One, they were partying on this boat, living their best life, and there were a couple other women involved. And those women may or may not have been twerking or dancing suggestively around Stefon, where Cardi B looked on. And I'm like, okay, that's an interesting relationship. That said, I'm pretty sure that Offset saw that video and got in his feelings a little bit and said, okay, how is it you're going to leave me? I'm worth 30 million and go to this dude who's worth 140 million. I'm sure that there was some of that male ego.
Who cares about how much money you make? You're a jerk, allegedly. I got quotes again, allegedly. I don't want him coming after me.
So, but the interesting part of that for me is, does it matter if your woman leaves you for a guy who makes more money than you or is better looking to you? Or do you want them to throttle down? Do you care that the person that your significant other leaves you for or is with after you doesn't measure up to you? Is that an ego thing?
Are you asking from a male perspective or a female or my perspective?
Well, I know how you would feel.
How do I feel about it?
You would hope that person doesn't measure up to the great length.
I don't have to hope. She's not going to. That's just a given. I'm not hoping over anything. But I do want you to be kind to my kids. So that's the most important thing. I think that men, and I'm going to speak for men because I'm not a man. So I'm going to go ahead and mansplain to you. I'm a woman-splain to you, just like you tried to mansplain to me earlier. I think that men could potentially feel some kind of way about that. For women, I don't know. For real, if they are good to my kids, I'm going to be happy with it.
I mean, if you think about these three stories that we talked about, there is this underlying theme. I'm gonna give you credit for this because I rarely give you credit because you rarely do anything to earn my credit on these topics. Is the control factor, where you had with Muss and the shit show, one of them wants to be in control. What's being talked about when you have the issues that's going on with Sean Combs factor of individuals doing what he allegedly wants them to do, or needed them to do to be able to please him. And right. There's more we can talk about. And I want people to comment on this because there's a lot more. It wasn't one-sided. I mean that, yes, he wanted them to do that because it brought him pleasure, but it wasn't like he, again, held a gun to their head. There was a comment that he made about I can't remember which, it may have been the one that's called Jane, was saying that she wanted to break up. She wanted to do all these things. And he said, how much time is left on your lease? Because I'm not going to pay the rent of someone I'm not dating. And I think that's fair. So that's all I have to say about that. But that's a control thing.
It is not a control thing. I don't have to date you. I can go get a job and go get my own thing. I don't have to date you. Yeah,
I get it. But if you're talking about pulling someone's livelihood away from them and the roof over their head away from them, you're paying for that to control them so that you have access to them. Okay, so I do believe that is financial abuse. Absolutely. And I also know that there's nuances when there's abuse in a relationship, and it's not just easy to walk away from that. I think that when you get caught up in it, there's psychological, there's other things that are happening in there. I'm just saying that if we take it from what it is, I'm paying your rent, I'm dating you, and I'm no longer dating you, I'm not obligated to pay your rent anymore. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. However, I think there are other factors that make it more complicated in that one. But one-to-one, if I'm in a okay relationship and my partner is paying my rent, I'm not married to him, or he bought me something, or he's paying, I'm using his Netflix. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go date this football player over here. He's not going to keep paying my Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To equate Netflix and a roof over your head. Because in your world, those things are equivalent. No, in no one's world. I'm trying to give you something to relate to, right? Okay. All right. Yeah. Netflix and a roof over your head. But again, control. And then with the Offset and Cardi B thing, it's about control. But it's interesting when you think about the levels of control when you are equal in terms of your partner, because in terms of financially equal is what I will use. I don't need you for your money. Right. And so you can't use that as a controlling mechanism for me.
Right.
But I am the mother of your kids, and you can try to shame me.
Sure.
You say, okay, you should not be out there doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You have these kids that you should be setting an example for.
Sure.
And all of them, obviously, these are men behaving badly, doing some things that we would not want them to do, and be a good representation of men, especially with respect to Black men. So this has been in a lot of ways a disappointing week for the Black male species. We're not even getting into the DDG and the Halle Bailey thing, and I know you have.
I do know, and I have lots of comments, so we'll reserve that. But I also think that we had two examples of Black men behaving badly. I think there are probably 100 examples of Black men doing the right things right. And I think that we have an obligation to give a shout out. Do people still do shout outs? Because I'm stuck in the 80s.
Speedwagon and those other yacht rock that you're listening to? Angles.
I always got the beat, John. And but for those men, thank you for doing the right thing, setting a great example for the next generation. We appreciate you and we love you. And for the other ones, think about your own internal journey. Think about loving your kids more than you hate that other person, and just do better.
Yeah, I have many, many thoughts on Black men and some of the things that obviously we are faced with and challenged with every day. I agree with you that there are millions of us that are out here trying to do the right thing, even in difficult times, even when it appears that everything is stacked against you. You still have to put your head down and continue to do the work, continue to be a good father, a good role model, a good steward of the community to make certain that you're providing that example for whomever may be looking at you.
Or just doing it for yourself, right? And so living an internal life and bringing about that energy, that positive energy that lives within you, that can make a difference as well. You don't always have to be performative and do it because somebody's looking. Do it because it's the right thing and it makes you feel good, and other people are going to see that light. That's what happens when you drink mud tea. It's all about that, the light and
It's about the bathroom. That's what it's about.
Wow. You're the most inappropriate person that I know.
No, there are many. There's so many others that are more inappropriate than that.
You're literally out of control.